Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, we're going to be using a team built around defensive Slither Wing in the OU tier. This is going to be one of our last two singles games on the channel. Sorry, this one went up late today. Had to do a bit of setting up for some technical stuff for tonight, as well as get a head start on a new save file for Scarlet. So a little bit of trickiness to say the least, but hopefully you guys enjoy it nonetheless. If you do, leave a like below and subscribe, and let me know what I guess your predictions are for the next mon. I do have it picked out already for our last mon for singles. I'm going to be recording that later tonight, and it'll be going up Friday. But with that said, let's get started on today's team. We have a team built around Slither Wing, but first up we do have a choice band of Roaring Moon, one of our many Paradox mons on this team actually. We have choice band with U-Turn, Dragonclaw, Earthquake, and Crunch. This is designed to basically just be a really strong breaker, and with Terrestrial Dark, this just allows us to boost Crunch, which is probably the more useful stab in my opinion. This should be pretty helpful for weakening stuff like our weakness to fairies, as well as just for helping us take out stuff like bulky, just general bulky mons. Dragon does have some issues with stuff like defensive steals or even potentially other fairies, and at least Crunch doesn't have the steal issue, so that's something. Albeit Crunch has its own issues to be fair against stuff like fightings, but again, I figured this was the more useful stab here. Ultimately though, this should be a pretty decent breaker, and it's a good pivot as well into other things, such as our next mon being Chien-Pao with the choice specs. Now this will be our premier special breaker on the team for sure, with Terra Blast, Overheat, Flamethrower, and Dark Pulse with the Terrestrial Fairy typing. I will say this team imported, this imported the wrong spread. Give me 1 second. Okay, so sorry about that. We're here with the Chien-Pao spread, the right Chien-Pao spread. This is basically just a max speed, max special attack set. The team that Harris initially gave me did have a more complicated spread, but he said ultimately it was inoptimal, so I didn't even bother with this one. But basically though, Overheat is just a really good breaking option, Flamethrower is a really good fire option for more consistent spamming, Dark Pulse is just great for stuff like Psychics, Ghosts, etc., and we have Terra Blast Fairy, which should help a lot with matchups such as for mons like Dragon, Dragonite, etc., especially for stuff like Roaring Moon as well, which would otherwise be a really good bulky check to this. In fact, there have been a lot of Roaring Moon coming around recently that are actually Spit F specifically for this little fucker, so we want to make sure that we're ready to take on whatever my opponent might bring with this. Up next, we do have Quackleval with the Terrestrial Fairy as well. This is Taunt, Bulk Up, Roost, and Aqua Step. With the base 80 speed, I know for a fact this is creeping some sort of mon that's like 380 something. I want to say this would creep like Weavile speed here, the 125 range, but I'm not honestly 100% sure. This looks like it's 372 actually. Oh, okay. So my guess is that this is for some sort of +2 calc, but again, I'm not really 100% sure. I know some things that it would coincidentally outpace. I would speed tie 120s with this, for example. I would be able to, so it's probably creeping Roaring Moon with this. That's probably what it's creeping. So this is Roaring Moon creep. With Tera Fire, obviously it helps defensively for Roaring Moon. With Roost, obviously it just helps for longevity with leftovers as well. We have Aqua Step and Moxie. These should be our primary attacking options, and once we bulk up enough, it won't even matter as long as my opponent does not have Haze or Clear Smog, because we could just honestly set up with bulk ups and then go for Aqua Step spamming and get our attack high enough and defense high enough to where we should be fine. I have no clue what the Spit F and HP combination makes for damage rolls, but I'm sure it's for something important. I'm just not really sure. I didn't even need to touch this mon this game, spoiler alert. Up next, we do have Iron Treads with the Stealth Rock, Knockoff, Rapid Spin, and Earthquake, just designed to be a really good spin option. Obviously, it's a great electric immunity, which is helpful for stuff like Quackleval pre-Terra, but overall, just a nice typing to have an immunity for. Rapid Spin should be great for clearing hazards, which is useful for stuff like Chien-Pao since we are choice specs, as well as for Slither Wing if we do lose our heavy-duty boots. And ultimately, this is just designed to be a really good support piece. Clearing boots from our opponents as well is extremely useful because it means they're going to be taking more rocks damage, which should be, of course, a very valuable asset to our team. Up next, we do have AMOONGUSS, literally our only returning mon on this team, with Spore, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, and Clear Smog. We're Terra Water, which is solely just to help take on a bit of more unique defensive role, because either we have a Grass Poison typing, which is useful for stuff like different fighting checks or other stuff like that, or we have our Water typing, which on the flip side would now make us resistant to fire instead of weak to it, and other situations like that. It's not really too specific. This is just kind of a niche Terra option at best, but we're basically just designed to spore everything and Clear Smog different setup users, with Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb being primary attacks. Rocky Helmet's great for different physical contact, and that's about it. Final mon of the team, of course, is Slither Wing with the Tera Fire set. This is basically just designed to be a really good check to Pokemon like Chien-Pao, which is absolutely destroying the tier right now, with Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun, U-Turn, and Body Press. This is literally like a Chien-Pao check, because this team gets mauled by it otherwise, outside of maybe Terra, Water, AMOONGUSS. This is other niche applications too, for example, stuff like Banded Terra, Normal Dragonite. This is an amazing check too. Really, any Dragonite it's not like a Tera Fire, which I guess we can go for Tera Fire against, but still is Earthquake, or Tera Flying would be the big one that I would be concerned about. But otherwise, we should be pretty decent at checking literally any other set for Dragonite as well, which those two are two of the most terrifying options in this tier right now. We can also potentially take on stuff like Great Tusk as long as it's not super offensive. So yeah, we have a lot of variety against some of the best physical attackers. But with that said, that's our team, and I'll see you guys in the battle. Until then, peace out, guys. Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking on my opponent with a team built around Slither Wing. Sorry for the content delay on this one. Took a bit to get a team, but here we are. If you enjoy, of course, leave a like and subscribe for more. And with that said, let's get started. So the team today is going to be consisting of course, a Slither Wing offensive build, which in terms of what we're bringing, we have a team, it's mostly built around a defensive Slither Wing, which is fine. That should be really good for checking stuff like Chien-Pao, so I'm not too concerned here. That means that we're probably not going to lead it off though, because there's not really a reason to. I am going to lead off with, I'm going to lead off with Moon, to be honest. Moon should be able to lead well against pretty much everything here, and I have a decent switch into pretty much any Pokemon that might actually be scary, so it could like fun to my opponent. And with that said, let's get into it. I forgot to note down their team, to be fair. I've got too focused on technical issues, but we're going to really quickly just note down. I know they at least had Iron Valiant, Goldengo, and Chien-Pao. By the way, I had to convert this over. Well, I had to get a Scarlet save, so you don't see the little baby boo-boo. We're going to have to trade him over and get the picture done. It'll be ready for the, oh my god, for the Road to Ranked, the next Road to Ranked episode, which also means, speaking of, I guess, a little bit of a meta breakdown here, but that does mean as well that we are going to have to redo our climb to Ultra Ball, which I'm going to do on the side. I will be there for the video, so it should be like as seamless as possible, besides the win record being off and the fact that we're on Scarlet instead of Violet from now on. Long story short, my Violet was an eShop copy, and I'm using that for the bot I'm setting up for my server for Mons, which does mean, of course, that we sadly lose out on our rating, which means I need to replay for both the stream set and for this. Dragonclaw turn 1 was honestly free. As far as I was aware, besides Valiant, they didn't really have a Fairy, and Valiant can come in anyway, especially if it's booster energy, and it has actually 0 drawback. But this should be fine though. We did not see a booster energy pop, which does mean I can get into AMOONGUSS pretty freely. Now I'm going to take this time really quickly to note down the other Mons. So they do also have a Dragonite and an Annihilate. Good to note. Okay, Garchomp's already gone. Doesn't really matter to me in terms of making my plays. We're going to proceed to go into AMOONGUSS though. They are like a Calm Mind Psychic set. That's fine. At least it telegraphs how we're going to play around this later on, so I'm not as concerned. Thankfully as well, with Roaring Moon, we could potentially utilize this with just Banded Earthquake or Banded U-turns until we can Earthquake, so I'm fine in that regard. We do see this as special, but I don't think it's a good idea to just switch out hard here either. I could potentially go for Terrestrial Water, which would work, but I think truthfully I would rather just go for the Spore, I think. And if Goldengo comes in hard, that's fine. But I don't really think it's worth burning a Terrestrial on this when I have better Terrestrial options, such as, for example, Slither Wing is a pretty decent one. I also have a decent Quaquaval set that could actually also be a really good option. And then Chien-Pao, also, again, really good Tera option here. Actually, it's an amazing Tera option here. They're going to proceed to go into Chien-Pao. That's fine by me, actually. I got off a Spore on this, which should be really amazing as far as checking Chien-Pao. So this is now completely asleep. Meanwhile, I can go into Slither Wing and then proceed to click U-turn, which should be some decent momentum gaining for myself. So that's what I'm going to do, I think. We're going to proceed to go into this. I could also potentially go for Body Press, but I think truthfully it's in my best interest to just go for the U-turn. U-turn will be really decent for pivoting around Goldengo, which I think will inevitably be the switch in here. If not Goldengo, then maybe Dragonite, but neither of which I really want to stay in versus. Though burning Dragonite's not terrible. I don't really think it's worthwhile to stay in just to burn it. So we're going to U-turn here. When Chien-Pao wakes up eventually, I'll probably go for the Will-O-Wisp to make that call. But I want Goldengo gone first. I think that's the big thing, as I want Goldengo to not be in the picture, because I can actually pivot on these Goldengo switch-ins, so that most likely it's going to happen, into Chien-Pao. Iron Valiant's actually to come in here. Interesting play, but I get it. We're going to proceed to U-turn, and I think I'm just going to go into... Let me double check something, actually. So we know it's not booster energy. Let me see. Iron Valiant versus Roaring Moon. I want to double check really quickly how much a Choice Banded Earthquake will do, because that will probably decide. Okay, it does not do enough. This doesn't do anything. Holy shit. I'm kind of shocked actually that this does so little damage, but you know what? That's fine. We can probably just go right into... I could probably go into Chien-Pao, but I think I'm going to go into Chien-Pao actually. Chien-Pao is pretty decent, and it forces a lot from my opponent's end at the very least. So let's do it. Let's bring in Chien-Pao. weird choice specs, and I am going to pop my Tera Fire here. I think Tera Fire realistically is my best play. And how much does Tera Blast do? Tera Blast should massacre this. Tera Blast, they don't have a switch in besides Goldango, so I think what I am going to do, actually, I'm going to Tera Blast. They would never once switch in Goldango on this in a million years. It's probably Dragonite it's coming in here, truthfully. Annihilate actually comes in. This is also very fine, truthfully, because this would have to be Scarf Annihilate to outpace, and if it's Scarf Annihilate, it's not living this hit, I'll tell you that much. So, yeah, this is really good for us, actually. Taking out Annihilate is huge. This is probably one of their best breakers they have on this team, and also, it potentially could have been a really annoying mon for Slither Wing, especially if it's Tera Fire. This could have been an absolute nightmare for me to play against. So we've now cleared 2 Pokemon right now, 2 of the harder ones for me to KO as well with Slither Wing, which is really decent. So they're going to probably, if I had to guess, go into... I'm going to guess they're going to go back into... They're probably going to go into Goldango here. I feel like Goldango's a really low drawback play, if nothing else. So we're going to... When Goldango comes in, yep, okay. We're going to... I think I want to go into Iron Treads. Iron Treads should be decent, albeit... Scarf will be a little bit annoying here, but if nothing else, I think what I can manage to do, I think I'll go for a knockoff when I bring this in. Knockoff should be really decent at clearing whatever item this has. If they trick a Scarf on me as well, I'm probably going to click knockoff anyway, to be honest. It's great for clearing stuff like Bandit Dragonite. They're going to proceed to go for Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is not a big concern, albeit not exactly a play I want to have to take. Well, more so an attack I want to have to take, but still not a big deal either way. We'll go for the knockoff, though. This should be great for removing stuff like Boots Dragonite later on. We find out this is Scarf Goldango, which is fine. It's good information. This does mean that I can just go into Roaring Moon here. And Roaring Moon... do I want to go into Roaring Moon? I feel like I can. Yeah, I have no reason not to, actually, to be honest. We're going to go into Roaring Moon here. And I think that my play is to go for... I want to say Bandit Crunch. I feel like Bandit Crunch is really good. Same as U-Turn. U-Turn should also be good. I'm going to go for a Crunch, and I'm going to attack what's in front of me. If they switch out into Iron Valiant, that's fine. They'll probably still take around like 30%, I want to say. Because despite being a 4x resist, they should still take a good amount of damage at the very least, so I'll definitely take it. Hopefully they bring it, they actually just stay in. Okay, this is fine too. Because we should definitely take this pretty well. Roaring Moon thankfully has a ton of special bulk. And there's no way in hell that Goldango actually takes this hit. Perfect. Okay, Goldango is gone. This pretty much has set up the game to where I can just win with... I can just win with Slither Wing. I know I haven't really used a lot of the Slither Wing here, and truthfully I think it's just because of how broken Shiyu and Roaring Moon are. But Chien-Pao is going to come in here. I do still need this potentially for Valiant, at the very least late game for Valiant. So I'm actually going to go hard into Slither Wing. Because at this point I can actually just start going for body presses until... Yeah, I can just go for body presses until Valiant comes in. I could potentially go for burns as well, which will also be really decent. But I think I'm just going to go for body press. In the off chance that this mon for some reason sacks, which maybe it does considering just how high the diff is and how bad the switch-ins are. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Because if nothing else, perfect. Okay, so Chien-Pao should be gone. Thankfully, our Slither Wing check is able to obviously handle this mon. So Chien-Pao is gone. Beautiful. So it should just be Iron Valiant and Dragonite left. If Valiant comes in, I'm going to switch probably into an Amoonguss, to be honest. I don't really have a better switch in there. Meanwhile, if my opponent goes... Okay, I was going to say, they want Valiant. This is fine. Yeah, let's just go into Amoonguss. If they proceed to go for like a Psychic attack, that's pretty okay. I'm gonna assume they're probably Specs at this point. We definitely haven't seen a Life Orb pop. And Boost Energy never popped either. So I'm gonna assume they're probably Specs. Maybe they're like Boots or something. I'm not really sure. Or Belt. Belt could be another option. We're gonna go for Sludge Bomb here. Because really it's all about at this point just either killing Valiant or breaking Sash. Which both of them are fine by me. When Dragonite comes in, it's probably the Tera option, and it's probably Tera normal, which does mean that I'll actually be able to check it sufficiently with Slither Wing. So I'll definitely go for that. This team is honestly so filthy, holy shit. They're gonna bring in Dragonite last mon, okay. What I'll probably do here, I'm gonna proceed to go for a Spore on this turn, because it's mostly truthfully just to try and put this thing to sleep if it's Dragon Dance, because I can get off the free body presses once this has one for Terrestrial normal here. And I should be able to start going ham. They're actually not going to Terrestrial at all, which is perfectly fine by me. Crit doesn't overly matter in all honesty. We're just going to go right into Slither Wing, and I should be able to burn this thing. And when I do burn it, I can just go for body press spam until it dies. Well, that plus Morning Sun, I should say. But the combination of the two should be able to handle Dragonite pretty efficiently, actually. Since this would basically have to be Tera Flying, which if it is, then so be it. But they're going to go for E-Speed. As I said, they do no damage. They're not choice either. This is revealed the no choice at the very least, which is also really valuable. So, yeah, Slither Wing, honestly, you know, we'll take it. We'll take it. They're probably just going to go for E-Speed because it's their best way to hit me. Assuming they're like E-Speed, DD, Earthquake, and Filler. Either that or a Dragon Attack. It depends on which they want to go for. But there's no reason for me not to just click Body Press here. They're going to cancel the battle. Okay, very unfortunate. But there's no way they broke this mon, to be fair, unless they were Tera Flying. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do, and you want to see more content like this, leave a like and subscribe for more. Shout out to our channel members today, of course, being Josh Get Ultra Player, Mia, Zeke Zero, Matt O'Shea, and Nox Nocturnal. Your guys' support is greatly appreciated on the channel, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date. And we'll see you guys for our final singles game on a Friday. So make sure to stay tuned for that. I have a very special team built around built around a particular mon that can do some work, but the team was ultimately never designed to function specifically around that mon. Regardless, hopefully you guys enjoy the Friday video, and I'll see you tomorrow for some Battle Spot doubles. We'll see you later. Peace out, guys.